Beth. Beth, get set.
Got it. Hello.
This lane, I think.
I would like to challenge Matt Prozac.
Scotty, pull.
野情的马戏。
Well, good Wednesday evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Fef, a platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. Another summer day, hoping that you've gotten a chance to get out to the lanes this season. It's really hot across many parts of the country. Wisconsin's certainly included in that, and the bowling center is always a nice, cool place to go. Yeah, here's hoping you're doing well in your summer leagues, practice, or whatever else. I had a chance over this past weekend to head out to Dracula's 32 Bowl in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota, and that's where this month's Midwest Senior Classic was. Where we saw Brian Thielen from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, take top honors. He was the winner there at Dracula's in Inver Grove Heights. It's his second title. Thielen won the championship match after 8 games of qualifying, 237 to 201 over Chad Nelson. Here's what he had to say afterwards.
Very surprised. I mean, Chad is phenomenal. He beat me going into this, so I knew he was going to be very tough to beat. During the practice, the look was there. I thought I was going to carry, and suddenly it just was grabbing early, so even when it hit, it was kind of burning out going in. So I made a big jump out 4 boards left, and that's when the strikes started coming. So got the ball a little more energy, a little more oil in there, and Chad helped me because he was like 7 boards left to me, so I was able to kind of read off of him a little bit. I only have one other title, and it was here. And it was completely different. We were using heavier equipment. We were outside. And so, yeah, I pulled the stuff out. I threw my practice shots, and I said, okay, I brought 6 wrong balls today. So fortunately, I had a couple of weaker ones. We put them in the bag. And no, I was able to get good reaction all day. I was very fortunate to not have to fish too much.
Not bad for having the wrong equipment there, huh? Thielen ended up taking home $400 for the win. This was also episode 117 guest Nick Hogan's first crack at running the Midwest Senior Classic. So congratulations to him also on a wonderful event. They are at McPete's next month for another Midwest Senior Classic tournament. Well, Chip Magnet makes sure that Bowling with the Fef looks the way it does. And my sincere thanks to everybody at Chip Magnet Salsa, based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, distributing quality salsa, relishes, and a whole lot more to stores in more than 38 states and Canada. If you want it, just stay online. Go to chipmagnetsalsa.com. They've got a great deal for Bowling with the Fef viewers. If you go, spend at least $30 and enter the promo code BWTF2023 at checkout. You'll get 20% off your purchase. Limit 1 order per email address from our friends at Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards is their slogan. And if you try Chip Magnet, you will certainly be raising your snack standards. And you won't need me to say that because you'll know it. It's good stuff. Well, our guest tonight has started bowling since her early days and didn't stop even after she competed against the best in the world on the PWBA Tour. Michelle Sterner, who competed as Michelle Frank, is joining us tonight from Niagara Falls, New York. And she is here live with us in an episode that we are quite appropriately calling Red. So welcome. They call you Red.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Even
My
on
husband
TV.
doesn't. Yeah,
No?
I know. They did. They did on TV. She called me Red. Yes, she did.
Yeah. So like I said, Niagara Falls, New York, not too far from Buffalo. And today is a big day in the football world because training camp started and everybody around here is all excited about the Packers. I'm assuming you're that way about the Bills.
Absolutely. I'm a huge, huge fan. I try to go as many games as possible. My husband is really into football. So, but he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh,
that's not my fault. Yeah, I know.
Nobody's perfect.
So he's nobody's perfect. But yeah, so I have gotten into more football, and obviously since they've become better, I've been more into it and learning more and more about it. I've always been a Bills fan in my heart, but
Yeah.
now it's, now it's actually more exciting.
Sure.
I was
Yeah.
going when I was going to home openers and stuff when they weren't doing poop because I had a good time.
There have been many years where they weren't doing poop,
Oh,
but
yes.
now they've got
Yes.
some momentum, and
Yes.
it's an exciting time over there because not only do you have a lot of great pieces in Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, the list goes on, but they're talking about building a new stadium, right?
Yes, they are. The
Yeah.
only thing is, I wish it was a full, like a dome,
Sure.
but they don't want to do that. But I think it would, the way um the way they their game plan. There you go. Their game plan. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's throw.
Mhm.
So we'd be better off having a dome for Josh. I mean, even though Josh can play in a cold, we'd be better off having a dome.
Yeah.
So see
Yeah.
how it goes.
I've said on this show before, I love the Bills. I love the Packers. We're not going to have a dome here at all. It's going
You
to be open,
never. I know
open
Green
air.
Bay's always gonna be open.
Yeah, Lambeau Field till the end of
Exactly.
time. But
Exactly.
I feel like there's something really similar about kind of relatively smaller market, cold weather, December, January games, snowballs, things like that. So it's
Oh yeah.
really cool, to hear about your passion for that team because I feel like there's a lot of similarities there.
There really is, because I mean I don't mind the cold. I mean, when we had that playoff game against the Patriots, and it was like, I went out and got gear, and you just don't feel cold when you're involved in all that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I have more worry about the team. Like, I want them to play. I want them to win, and I guess players know how to do it, but I just would rather. I just worry a little bit sometimes with our game plan and how it goes, but we'll see. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be. I think people like the open concept because it's just the Bills' way. It's the Bills'
Right.
way.
Yeah,
That's
for
why,
sure.
just like it's Packers' way.
Yep. And here's hoping for that dream Super Bowl of mine, Packers versus Bills. One of these days, it's going to happen.
I would freaking love it. Sorry, I would love it.
You can see.
I'm waiting for this. Okay, I'm like, oh, I've just been waiting. We've been waiting for so long. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm ready. Let's go.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a hopeful time of year for all that stuff. Jay is with us live. Says hi, Fef, and hi, Red. Jay,
Hello.
good to see you catching us live. If you're live, feel free to chime in the chat there, ask any questions you've got, or if you're watching on replay, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be sure and get back to you on anything you've got to say there. On women's, the women's tour this year is we're coming to the last couple events of the season. You've got the Lucy doubles coming up. And it looks like she dropped off for a second, so we'll give her a second to get back connected again. What I was going to say is we've got the Lucy doubles coming up this weekend, and then the last three events of the season in Waterloo, Iowa are after that, when we really start getting a feel for who's going to come out on top in the various races, player of the year and such. There's they go by a point system on the PWBA Tour, and not on a vote like they do in the PBA counterparts. So you start to get a little clearer picture of that as you come on.
All right, that's me. Go ahead.
That's
so
okay.
sorry.
Go ahead. I was just tap dancing.
Okay.
No, I was just getting into the PWBA stuff, talking about the point system that there is for player of the year and things like that. But tell me about your thoughts on this year's tour. You've got the Lucy doubles coming up next, along with that 3-event finale after that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I would like to bowl. It's just hard right now. I'm older than these kids, and I have a job. It's called responsibility. If this were going on back in the day, I would have been there. I love the Lucy, just haven't been able to go. My back has been, back and forth, and my partner and I just were like, oh, we'd rather be healthy. And so, but it's a great tournament. I mean, you see everybody's there. The turnout's amazing. Donna Connors does an amazing job with the whole thing, and she works her tail off for it. It's an amazing tournament. It's cool that it's considered a title too. I thought that was, when that happened, that was a really awesome thing, because it's fun to bowl doubles. It's fun to bowl mixed doubles. I bowled doubles back in the day when they had the women, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I envy these girls. I wish I could have gone, finished the season or even bowled a few, because few were really close, but I just couldn't. I couldn't handle the games. I just got to work on this back. Yeah.
Sure. Was there like a consistent partner that you had when you bowled the doubles events?
There was.
Yeah.
She was my teammate. She was my teammate, and we were best friends at the time. It was Suna Boyski.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a real, and now she's married, so it's easier. It's Suzanne Muni. So
okay.
yeah, it's way easier. When we used to bowl regionals, it was kind of funny. We used to bowl regionals, and they could never ever pronounce her name right. They see her every time, and we'd laugh. We would just laugh every week. We tell them exactly what to say. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So she was my doubles partner, and we bowled really well together.
Even having a 5-letter last name like I do, and it's on the screen right now, I get that too.
I believe it.
They can
I
never.
believe it.
They can never pronounce it right. So,
right. I believe it. I believe it.
I feel Sue's pain on that one.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning. And going back to the beginning means going back to when you were just 3 years old, right? When you first started bowling?
Yes, I was 3 years old when I first started bowling. That's due to my parents, because my parents were pretty avid bowlers around here in the Buffalo scene. So they were really good. Mm-hmm. So I caught the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back, back in those early days, obviously it's, your parents take you, you've got to have the support to get to the lanes and stuff like that. But what are your first memories in the sport?
Oh, my first memories. I don't know that we're talking that young. I know. We used to bowl at Manor Lanes, which was around here, and the lane guy, his name was Dolphus, and he loved my parents. Dolphus, yes, that's what his name was.
Okay.
And if anybody's watching that around here, will know who I'm talking about. Okay. And he loved me, and he loved my parents, and that's when they kept score on the sheet, like it was paper. There's no machines. And he gave us a 7-pound bowling ball. And I'll never forget that. That's what me and my brother, my brother came older, but he gave us our first bowling ball. It was 7 pounds. Yeah. And we'd bowl with it on the lanes.
Okay.
So, and my mom did tell me that it's kind of funny. I wish I remembered this, but I have to tell you the story.
Yeah.
My mom's friend used to work at one of the bowling centers that's now closed here, called Suburban. And my mom's friend used to work, and she's like, my brother and I were bowling, and we were young. We were super young. And my brother came up to the counter, and he says, "Miss Mary," he says, "there's something wrong with the lanes. They're crooked." He goes, "My bowling ball keeps going in the gutter." Because that was before bumpers.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have bumpers. We had to really learn, not saying that bumpers aren't good. Please don't, let's not go there. I don't want to start a, production, but so it was fun. My parents were very supportive. Very supportive. Yeah.
No, I mean, growing up in the sport in the mid 80s, I didn't have bumpers either. So I get it. You have to learn early on, to kind of control things.
Right.
Did you get into a junior program or anything like that?
I did. It was at Manor Lanes in Tonawanda, New York.
Okay.
So I was there till I graduated high school.
Okay.
And then I went to the adult leagues, and I bowled in a league there.
Are we talking pretty big junior program when you were in it?
At the time, absolutely. It was decent. It was very decent. It was it's a 24-lane house on both sides. And then they had like bantams and juniors and majors and seniors, so it was full house for the whole day on Saturday for the most part.
Okay.
So it was good. It was a good program.
When you got in it, I'm assuming you're kind of matched up or teamed up with kids that are around your age.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you remember it being easy to compete, tough to compete? Was there kind of a learning curve for you?
Yeah, there was a learning curve. When I first started, it was like it was hard. There was a learning curve because I used to throw a backup ball, and and then they tried the best to get it out. And then the more I did it, the more I started getting the itch. Like I really wanted to compete, and I really like winning. Like I'm competitive. So I started getting the itch, and then I started working, and then I got to bowl on the junior travel league. We had a junior travel league around here. Okay. And they picked the best from every bowling center, and I was on that, and it was It was really fun. So I got to bowl Saturdays and practice, and then Sunday we bowl, a travel league. It was fun. And that was really super competitive. And that's what really kind of jumpstart things. And then I went to high school. And high school, I did extremely well in high school. So that just kept going, I just wanted to keep going. It got better and better and better.
Sure. If anybody's going to come in hot, it's Derek, right? He says bumpers are bad, just like the Sabres.
Oh, he's so bad.
You going to put up with that?
He knows I will be shooting him a text later. I'm going to be very nice right now.
No, tell him
very
what
nice
you think.
right now.
Tell him
No,
what you think. He's
no,
a
he
Bruins
knows better.
guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he tags me all the time on Facebook about, oh, my Bruins, and they play the Sabres. Heaven forbid they play the Sabres. Oh hell no! And I'm a Sabres fan too.
Mm-hmm.
I am a hockey fan. I love hockey too. So
yeah.
So he does bust me every once in a while, and I'll either get the message or I'll get it posted on Facebook.
Sure.
Yeah, he's bad. I was waiting for him to chime in.
Me too. And thanks to Derek for lining up this interview.
Yes,
really appreciate him making the connection between us.
He's awesome. He's a really good guy. He does great interviews. He just promotes the game. He's wonderful.
Yes, he is.
He's a good
Flush
guy.
in the Pocket podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, do so. It'll be worth your time. So you mentioned high school. Was there an opportunity to compete on a team at your high school, or
there was?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was, but they weren't like, it was like when I got there, we kind of started the team. And as we went, like one year we finished second, we almost all went to states. It was we had a really good team after a while. And then I did go to states myself because they had like an all-star team. 3 out of the 4 years I went. The second year I was sick. I bowled terrible. I'll never forget. They all were surprised because people, I went with my freshman year and people were just kind of like in awe. And I actually got female athlete award from a freshman from high school, and I didn't expect it. I was just like, if you knew where I went, they were like not happy because I was a bowler. I didn't swim, I didn't track, not very happy. But that was a nice, pleasant surprise that I won that my freshman year. Freshman bowler athlete of the year.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I enjoyed myself in high school. High school kind of catapulted things too as well. Like I bowled states, won things, won averages, high average awards and stuff.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fun.
I love how Derek came right back with Michelle is one of, if not the kindest people ever.
Oh, see, he's working it now. He's working it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just start with that and not,
he knows. I'll message him later.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're sweet too, honey.
So when in preparation for this episode, I reached out to a gentleman who you probably know, Fran Bax, who's been on our show once before.
Oh, okay.
And he mentioned when I brought up the fact that you were coming on the show, that you two bowled together off and on since you joined adult leagues several years back, and that you two were mentored by a Lou, help me with the last name,
Marcantonio,
a teacher in the Niagara Falls School District. He said Lou also coached the Niagara Falls high school bowling team. He took you two under his wing, despite the fact that neither of you bowled for NFHS.
Yeah.
He said that you attended a different high school while he attended a Catholic high school in which the bowling team wasn't in the same league as NFHS. But he called Lou a coaching legend in Western New York, as well as an incredible leader in the local bowling scene. For those who didn't get the chance to know Lou, what can you tell us about how he was both as a coach and a person?
Okay, I'm gonna try not to cry. He was outspoken. He loved his team. I met him my freshman year, obviously, in high school. And he gave me the nickname Fiery Redhead from Grand Island. So that stuck. And that's how everybody knew me for the 4 years. And he took me under his wing and he let me do things, like I could, like sophomore year when I couldn't go to states, he let me go watch. Like I probably shouldn't even have been there, but I went on the bus because they all love me and they're like, and he was such a wonderful man. And if you were here and ask anybody who was under him as far as Niagara Falls, they he's not. He was a special man. He
Yeah.
was wonderful. He was friend. He was a good organizer. Like I said, he took us under our wing. Like he would take care of us and see how we were doing, and always talk to us. He never coached me. But he was such a wonderful man. I know he might have coached Fran, but he was such a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And he was greatly missed. I mean, if you ask any of the Niagara Falls people, like one of my girlfriends, we went to states together because I went with myself and she went with her team. And we just would have a great time. I mean, he was just amazing to be with. He was an amazing man.
Yeah.
He did leave his mark.
Yeah. And, it sounds like we lost him a few years ago. So, that's, I'm sure, a tough loss for that bowling community there. You said he didn't coach you, though. So I guess, were there coaches for you at that point in your career?
No, my dad. That was
dad?
it. Yeah, I'll tell you who my high school coach was, the math teacher.
Okay.
The math teacher.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a coach. So we kind of did ourselves. And then my dad helped. My dad was the one who would be with me on Sundays and on the weekends. And then, manner, I would learn a little bit. And then, but after high school is when I kind of got into college. And then I really got the coaching and bowling with my peers. And we got to practice every day. And I just improved exponentially just because I kept practicing.
Sure.
That's all we could do down there. I mean, we go to practice, go home, have dinner, do our homework, and go back to the bowl and practice. And we would just keep doing that, So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you competed for your college team?
I did. I first went to Erie Community College with Kerm Helmer, who was another one.
Yeah.
And then I went to West Texas State. Well, it's West Texas. It was West Texas A&M. Now it's West Texas A&M State, I think.
Right. But
it's that, yeah.
Two incredible programs, of course.
Yeah.
The championship trophy is named after Kerm Helmer now.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about him and your dealings with him?
My dealings with Kerm.
Yeah.
Kerm is I don't know. I love Kerm and Flo Slowinski coached with him, and he coached the girls. So I really work with Flo more than Kerm. Okay. But Kerm took care of his team. He's a great organizer, took care of everything. He was great to bowl for. He was strict. But he was good to bowl for. Like my first tournament out, we were in West Virginia. My first term as a freshman. So my girlfriend and I actually, she was, we were good friends and we became good friends. We were roommates. So we were in bed. We were there literally watching TV with, and Kerm comes down. He wanted everybody in our room. Now her and I are just sitting there doing nothing. He slams the TV off and what is that? And he's screaming at everybody. I'm like, oh, thank God I'm in my bed. Cause I was like, he's going to kill me. But he likes to win. He liked to win. He was a very good coach and everybody knew him. And he was a good ambassador. He was definitely a good ambassador for the world, bowling world.
Sure.
He was greatly missed. His funeral, there was lots of coaches that I knew, and it was incredibly sad. But there was a lot of people that came to see him.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You said you also went to West Texas State. What brought you from one to the other?
Well, Erie's a 2-year college.
Okay.
And I wanted to go more, and they recruited me. I had a couple recruiters, people wanted me to go, and then they recruited me hard, so I went there.
Okay. And when you transfer schools, and I'm one who did. I started at UW Eau Claire, transferred to UW Milwaukee, bowled for both programs, but there are subtle differences, right? Was it easy to kind of hit the ground running there?
Yeah, well, it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking for me because it's 1,000 miles away from home. I'm very family oriented. Sure. It was a little nerve-wracking, but then it was freeing it too. I was like, oh, I'm alone. I can do what I want. And it was difficult for me in college there. It probably would have been better if I was at home. But yeah. But we bowled a lot.
Did the constant bowling help you get through it?
Yes. Because I missed home a lot. Bowling was the only thing that got me through it, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah.
If there is anything that you could tell me about college bowling and what it did for your game, either physically, mentally, what would it be?
Both.
Yeah.
Huge physical. Like your teammates, like we had coaches. We had a coach there. He was a coach, but he coached us like with our in our regular practices. But what we did on our own was practice. And then, so I had my teammates were amazing, teaching me this and say, okay, Red, you got to do this. And then we practice spares. I mean, we would just practice and practice and practice. And I loved it because you got feedback from your teammates and they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I loved college bowling. I loved the competitiveness. I'm a huge team bowler, and I'm very passionate about bowling, very passionate about it. And I enjoyed it thoroughly, and it helped my mental game. That was, that's always in a work in progress, but that was, I loved college bowling. It was just, you get to bowl. I met a ton of people too, and I've been friends with them since then, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. So I can't believe I just said that out loud. But yeah, and I'm still friends with them, so which is nice because you get to meet, you're seeing people from all over the country. It was amazing.
Who are those ladies that you ended up, forming those great friendships with on those teams?
Leslie, it's Leslie Beavish.
Boom.
Boom. Thank you. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so nervous. I can't. And Christy Kent.
Okay.
They're sisters. And the reason why we started becoming really close was because everybody thought we could have been sisters. Oh. Leslie was older than Christy and I bowled my freshman year. Leslie was her senior, and I really didn't get a chance to get to know her, but Christy and I got to know each other. And then everybody was like, you guys could be sisters. I'm like, yeah. So we stayed close. It was kind of funny. We stayed good friends through all this time. And she lives down the road from me now in Canandaigua.
Wow.
Yeah. So we get to see each other once in a while because busy lifestyles. They own a bowling center. I got stuff going on. So yeah. And I still talk to people that I still talk to people. I'm glad Facebook. Facebook was amazing because I got to talk to people that I hadn't talked to in so long and catch up with things and see how people are doing. Sure. It's nice.
You mentioned that your teammate was calling you Red by that time.
Mm-hmm.
How did that ever get started? Was that then or before then?
You were asking me how that got started?
Yeah.
You're going to look at my hair?
No, I'm saying, was it always that way? Did people just start calling you that?
People just started calling me in the bowling world. It was the bowling world. It wasn't in high school. Honest to God, it wasn't in high school. It wasn't my family. People just started calling me in the bowling world. It was just, I don't know. It's funny. Just weird that way. And yeah. I was, I don't know. I was real close friends with Mike Newman. He started calling me Red. I mean, the bowlers, the men, not the women, the men call me Red. Okay. It's just easier, I guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's funny. Funny.
Were you cool with it from the start?
Yeah, I was cool with it from the start. Absolutely.
Sure. How about feisty? And I say feisty because two of the people that I asked to comment about you used that word. Liz Johnson said that you are feisty, a loyal friend, and that she would have you on her team any day, anytime. So let's start. God. I mean, there's something to unpack there, but let's start with the feisty part. You good with that?
Yeah, it's true. I am pretty feisty. I don't mess around. I call a spade. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I don't deal with fakeness very well. So I am very feisty, and I will speak my mind freely.
and then the second part of that, where you've got one of the best to ever do it, saying, anytime you're ready, she'll bowl with you.
Yeah, we bowled together a long time. We did. And then, we just kind of parted ways a little bit, but so it could happen again. But we bowled really well together. Chemistry was amazing. So we won. I have 2 national titles with her as well. As like city titles and state titles, I have national titles with her too. So we do bowl well together. Yeah.
So 2 of you bowling really well, and both of you ending up, at the top level of this sport, the PWBA Tour. Is that something you could see, from the days before you were on tour?
No, I didn't. To be honest with you, I really had no desire because I never thought I was good enough. And this is what happened. So I kept working, and I just kept bowling. I just loved it, and just kept bowling tournaments. And then I had, the guys in Buffalo were amazing, like back in the day. Not that they're not now, but yeah, I see. Got to be careful because I don't mean it that way. I'm talking about back in the day. There's Gwynn and Masiello and Newman and Brad Angelo and I bowled with all these guys and Pat Brick, and like they were like, Red, you need to start bowling on tour. And I'm like, no, I'm not good enough. You know, I wasn't right. I'm not that person to put myself, like, as feisty as I am, I'm not that person to put myself out there like that. And then I did bowl, and I bowled my first 300 on tour with my girlfriend Sue. Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts. I had ball drilled, and it was just the craziest thing. And I couldn't believe I did it, because that first tournament that I ever bowled, it was like 128 out of the gate, because my spare ball was plugged, and I didn't know. I wasn't clarified. I didn't get the rules clarified to me, so I didn't have a spare ball for the first 8 games of bowl.
Oh wow!
I was a train wreck. Like, and here I am. I'm my 20s, and I'm like, I'm gonna make an ass out of myself, And but then I got a spare ball drilled, and I got a ball drilled, and I shot 300 the next day, and made us into the cut.
Holy cow!
It was awesome. We bowled really good together.
Where was that tournament?
Samstown.
That's
what. Yeah, they used to have the doubles at Samstown. I miss it. I wish they would do that again.
Yeah.
That was an awesome tournament to bowl, because you're not bowling. You bowl with yourself, and you do that. But like I said, I love bowling competitively with someone. Team event, doubles. I love it.
When you first got out there on tour, I mean, that's a great a great rebound in in your first event like that. But what was it like? I mean, were there surprises along the way that you didn't anticipate?
Yes, yeah. I did. Absolutely. Let's see how far I want to go with this. It wasn't exactly the warm feeling I got from these women. So, and it was very hard. It made it very hard and very difficult. Because this is their livelihood, and they new people. It's like they don't know you yet. So, and I don't want to say the disrespect, but they're very snooty and not really nice. Okay. So I did experience it, and I think that's where I get my feistiness from too, because I said, oh no, you're not going to get mad at me, and if you think you're better than me, then beat me. Then don't get mad when I beat you, because I bowled good. Yeah. I'm there for a reason. I can bowl. So, and it was a rough go for a while, but then I got to know them, and I bowled a little bit more and everything. It was good. But the whole shell shock of the thing of you're seeing people you watch on TV and you bowl against them, and it's just it's a different thing for sure. It's an awesome experience. I would never tell no one not to do it if they're like, that's your aspiration. Absolutely. But it was a little shell shock for me. And it's not like I expected people to kiss my butt or anything. It was just a real weird, it was just, it wasn't necessarily great, but it was good because my first one was a doubles. So it wasn't, we could support each other. Yeah. So it was nice. Yeah.
I would think nice. Competing for a job, you've got to have kind of a thick skin, right?
Yes, you do. You seriously do, because everybody's out there to win. This is nothing personal. And I think some women don't understand that. And I understood it, because people would get mad. See, that's another thing. People get mad at me because on the lanes is one thing. Off the lanes, I'll go have a beer with you. But when I was bowling on the lanes, I want to win. I don't care if you're my husband. I want to win. It's like, you should want to win. Like, you should want to beat me every time you bowl me. Mm-hmm. So as aggravated as I get, if someone gets feisty, I'm like, well, that's, they should want that, and I got a lot of crap for that, to be perfectly honest with you, for that. Okay. And I got a tough skin, and I said, I didn't care. You either like me, you don't. If you want to talk to me after, and we can have a beer, and everything's fine. I won't be a jerk to you. I was never like that, but just people, women are women. I was going to say it, women. I'm a woman, so I am, but women, it's different than a man. Yeah. Like, men can just bowl the match, be jerks to each other, go have a beer after, and not even think about it twice. Even think about it twice. That doesn't happen. Yeah. And so but that's what did happen, and I got over it. I'm all right.
Sure.
It still happens now a little bit, because some of the youngins are little, but that's okay.
Sure.
That's all right. That's another story.
Yeah. Okay. Derek harkens back to the Samstown conversation. He says 19 and 20 was always the championship pair there.
I think so. I never got there, but yeah, I think so. I think he's right.
Okay. Jay says he tried using spare balls for a few years. In the end, he says he just prefers to throw his strike ball for both shots. He said he's not a pro. That's just him. What do you
I
think?
think that's definitely preference.
Yeah.
If you have no problem with it, I tell you not to do it. Like my dad was old school, and then when all this resin started coming out, and because urethane then resin, resin, he couldn't understand why I got a spare ball. I'm like, well, Dad, I go, it's not gonna hook. He's like, well, it changes the feel because you got a different ball. So I think it's definitely preference. I envy that someone that can do that consistently, to be perfectly honest with you. If you can shoot your spares consistently and not need a spare ball, God bless you, because that's great. It comes down to making spares. Whatever you're comfortable doing it doesn't matter how you do it. It's how you're going to do it, and if you do it consistently. Now, if you don't, then I suggest you do something different. But if you're making your spares with a spare ball or your regular shot, that's totally on you.
Mhm.
I never tell anybody to do. Well, if I coach somebody, I definitely say you need a spare ball, but that's if they're not consistent, But I would never tell anybody, well, you're doing it wrong. No, sure. I don't tell people. I never tell people they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
Never. So whatever works.
I've done it both ways. When I was younger, I could get a little more speed behind that strike ball and, like the feel, like you said.
Yeah.
And it was working, but now, I kind of use that spare ball because I don't have the ball speed I did. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. To be perfectly honest with you, you don't have to concentrate as much. At least that's how I feel, and I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I could shoot the spare with that because I was so hyper-focused. But now it's like, it's not that I'm not hyper-focused, but I'd rather just have the spare ball. It just makes it that much easier. I just don't want to think. It makes it that much easier.
For sure. And Jay says he feels like it changed his rhythm. So you got to have the right rhythm, right? Otherwise,
what does he mean by that? What does he mean by that?
Good question, because I would think it would be the opposite. It would change your rhythm if you had to get more speed behind it. At least that's how I felt about it. So Jay, if you're still here, let us know.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. So this is a good point in the show to remind folks that if they like what they're seeing and they want to see more of it, a good way to support the show is to like and subscribe. On the way to 2,000 subscribers there, you can click that little logo in the corner. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. You get to be the first to know when we put up new videos and go live and all that good stuff. And it just helps me out. So please consider it. And for those of you who have subscribed or are subscribing now, thank you so much. I did also talk to Jody Westner, and she again used the term feisty. She said that you are a true redhead, fierce and fiery competitor who scared the crap out of her when she first met you. What's the story behind that?
So I am fierce, and I was very intense. Like, seriously, you ever see Carolyn Durham Ballard when back in the day when she was? Yeah, that was me. Very intense and very like. I look like I will kill you, like, seriously. But it was just bowling. Like, I just wanted to win. That was how I ultra focused. That's how and I met Jody in regionals, and that same thing happened. She see me, and then after we start talking, I'll say nice bowling. We start talking, and then we became good friends after that. And we've been friends ever since. Like, that's been 30 years too. So I've had people come up and tell me, oh my God, you're so sweet, you're so nice. But man, I'm like, that's because bowling is different than sitting here at the bar or going to dinner or having a conversation with me. I'm why don't you give me a chance? Men do it all the time, it's because we're not supposed to act like that. So we're supposed to be prim and proper. I'm like, listen, I want to win. I'm intense. You can see it. I mean, I'm just a very intense bowler. So a little toner now because I'm older, but I still am. When I get into it, I get into it.
And she said, she followed up on that by saying, but just as intense as you were on the lanes, you're also someone who cares deeply and would do anything for you. And, that's something that you've mentioned a couple times here. And I like to ask the guests on this show is that, tell me about turning that off and that on, being intense and, having that killer mentality while you're in the heat of battle, but then having a beer and, being friendly with these same people when the lanes are shut down.
You just got to give me, like, if I win, I can tell you the transition's way easier. if I lose, you got to give me about 15, 20 minutes to go to like be pissed, get done with it, and then come back and I'm fine. Like, I'll be okay. Like it was, I'm not going to lie. It was very intense when I was younger, and it took me a little bit longer, but when it came down to it, I liked hanging out with people, and I got to, I was good friends with Wendy McPherson and oh my gosh, I'm drawing blank and I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'll think of it. So I became close with those two because Carol Giannotti, thank you.
Yeah.
So because there's no nonsense with those two. They were in, they were out, they were the same way. No nonsense. When they're on the lanes, it's serious. When you're off, we go have drinks, we laugh. I mean, I was just intense. And I think people thought I was being disrespectful, which in my mind, I wasn't being disrespectful. I wanted to win. And I didn't care if you were Carol Giannotti or Wendy or the best out there, Tish Johnson. I didn't care. I'm going to try to win and beat you. Mm-hmm. But doesn't mean we can't go out later, but women, like I said, women are different, man. Women are different. I should have bowled with the men.
Yeah.
But Jody knew, we got to know each other, and she knew.
Sure. So Derek says that Tiffany Stanborough was scary intense as well.
She was my roommate. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah, she was intense. She's the same way though. When she's bowling, it's bowling. Mm-hmm. When she's done, we go and we have a drink. Everybody needs some time to cool off, of course, because no one likes to lose. Yeah. But we always have dinner, or we all chill, or we all would go and be get over it, be done with it. Yeah.
So he says he's right along there with you. He says he's very intense. He's out for blood.
He is.
And he's
watch his post before. Yeah. I love it though about him. Mm-hmm. He's very passionate. It's just a good thing. He loves to win. Does not like to lose.
Yeah. Jay says all he meant by that is that he doesn't have to change anything up from ball to ball, if that makes any sense. So
okay, I understand that. Yeah. Okay. What he said didn't make sense, but that makes sense to me, where he doesn't feel like he's losing anything. He doesn't have to feel like he has to do anything different.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's speaking, like I said, that's great.
Yeah. That's what attracted me to doing that back in the day, because you don't have to change anything. You can just throw at it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, the years have taken their toll. Back to Jody. Tell me about what it was that made you two such good friends.
Well, actually, we're kind of like, we're both, she's like me. We're both intense. I mean, she wasn't more showing. I was more showing than she was. Okay. We were at the bowl, but then when we'd hang out, we like to drink. We enjoy each other's company. We'd laugh. I mean, we made each other's laugh. We've been, we would talk, even though we're 4 or 5 hours away from each other, we talk as much as we could. And I loved hanging out with her at regionals. She was just fun. She's a nice girl. She's fun to get to know. She was fun to be with. Yeah. She's got a good heart too. So It was just nice being, I'm just glad we stayed friends.
Yeah. Also a previous guest on this show. If you're interested in seeing more of her bowling story, I'll, after we get this back on replay, I'll get a link up in the corner there. But, in 1998, that was the season where we see you on TV. Lehigh Classic, Lehigh Valley Classic, the PWBA show. And you get on TV, and who do you go up against but Tish Johnson, who is really, in her prime at that point, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The whole show. I was like, whew, it was crazy. It was awesome, but it was crazy. I mean, it was Tish, Wendy, Carol, and Leanne Barrett. So you can't make that show is just nuts, and it was a hard week. Sure. Hard week. Very hard. I only won 9 matches to make the show. So out of 24.
Yeah. Hall of Famers.
So that's how good I bowled. Yeah. All Hall of Famers. I know, right?
Yeah. But you win that first match before, I believe you lost to Wendy. But tell me about that experience. What was it like to bowl on TV?
It was cool. Yeah. I was nervous. I was so nervous, but it was cool. And once you're there, like, you think it's nerve-wracking, but once you're there, like, I didn't even think about the people behind me or the cameras, like, the cameras down there. And I just did it. And it was cool. It was a very cool experience. you know, you had all these people cheering for you. And I, you know, after I got done, they gave me standing ovation. It was awesome, you know, and then everything, I bowled a little bit, and then I went on a tour, and then the tour was like, that was it. I was like, oh my God. So it was hard, you know, it kind of bummed me out that I couldn't, like, it was basically my prime when it stopped. And so I don't regret, you know, I can't regret, but it just bums me out that it couldn't have, you know, gotten that title.
What do you remember about maybe the circumstances behind when you heard the tour was folding?
Sad. It's sad. I was like, it's unfortunate. I used to love bowling all those games and travel, and it was a very sad day because I used to like watching people on TV and like being around it and being involved and bowling all week, and I loved bowl. I mean, I just loved being there.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
Did you find out directly from the folks who were running the tour or some other way?
I can't remember how I found out.
Yeah.
It might have been me and Liz talking. Honest to God, it might have been her and I talking about it, but yeah, or someone else.
Yeah.
It was just sad.
Sure. So what do you do? I mean, the tour's not there anymore. You got to pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how'd you do?
I did what I could. I got on staff. Bowl tournaments did pretty good. They didn't have a Queens for a while either, and they didn't have US Open. I mean, they didn't have a lot for real for a long time. And I just started, and then it came back, and I started bowling good, and I was doing okay. And then I started having some back problems. And probably since 2017, things have been a little different. My husband has stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer. So that's when it started. So then it was kind of like it's been roller coaster for me as far as mental and trying to be there, trying to focus. So I'm just working on myself right now, physically and then mentally, and then hopefully next year I'll go a little bit more.
Yeah,
I really want to. You know, I've got the opportunity to be on these staffs, so you know, which I think Dave walked every day. You know, that he gave me the opportunity to be on the Brunswick staff. So
sure.
Yeah.
I did want to mention in January of 2016, you had a huge league night at the Bowl-a-drome in Niagara Falls. What do you remember about that night?
What's the huge league night? What is
Didn't you shoot 822?
Yeah, but I had 843 a month before.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
what's it like shooting those huge scores?
Oh, I was dying. I was dying because it was just like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I've had always problems carrying. And the first game out of the gate, I shot 300. And then the second game, I had the front 8. And the one of the lanes, which I can't remember which one, was hooking just a hair more. I mean, we're talking, and I think he was a little slower, maybe pinched in, and I left a 4-pin and struck out. So here I am, got 579, right? And I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So I go and I start, I go double, and I go pocket 7-9.
Oh, geez.
I almost started crying because I'm like, oh, is this how it's gonna go? Really? Is this how it's gonna go? And then I struck all the way up to the 11th frame, and then my field ball was a 6. It was a 6 because I was trying. I think I came down from a. So yeah, that's my highest series ever. That was pretty amazing. So any 800 is amazing. I'm not gonna brush off any 800. No 300s. I know people are like, oh, they're a dime a dozen. I'm like, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
I don't care how people think about it. It means a lot to me, and that's all. It's any bowler. It's an accomplishment. It may be a little bit easier to shoot 300. Maybe the softer shots, or the bowling balls, the tremendous amount of bowling balls we have, but it should always mean something to you. But yeah, I can't. You heard about that other one? I'm like, what January? I'm like, no, but that one in February or December was better.
Okay. Yeah,
but
that's the one. But were those in different houses or the
yes,
same
they were
house?
different houses.
Okay.
One was in Lewiston, New York, and the other one was in Niagara Falls, New York. Bowl-a-drome's in Niagara Falls, and Lewiston Event Center is in Lewiston, in north here a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often would you say you bowl competitively nowadays? Tournaments, leagues?
Leagues, I bowl every week, a couple leagues. I try to bowl tournaments on the weekends. It just depends on what's going on as far as, let me tell you this first.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm doing. Now I got asked to help coach the Uville girls bowling team
Okay.
with Susan Jezierski, who was my teammate too, and Liz's teammate. So now I'm going to try my best to, bowl, but I got to go in weekends with them and coach, which is kind of fun. That's really cool. That's awesome because it's like, it just brings back all these memories, these fuzzy memories of bowling and competitive and screaming and getting into it. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. I have great group of girls that I deal with. It's small because the program's fairly young. It's 5 years old. Susie started it 5 years ago, and it's just progressing. So we're working on it. We went to Junior Gold this year to did some recruiting, hoping it worked. So we'll see.
Okay.
It was fun. It's fun.
We through the course of this, we've heard feisty and fierce on the lanes. What about Michelle Sterner, the coach? Is Michelle Sterner, the coach, feisty and fierce, or are you different?
I to be careful. It did happen this year because it was upsetting, and I'm not like that with coaching because you have to, you can't be like that. You can be firm.
Mm-hmm.
I did one time, but I got my point across, and that's all that matters. And when they weren't bowling, we had a meeting in between. It was something that happened with the girls, and I said, "This is not happening. I'm not wasting my time with you. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to advance you guys. I'm not here to watch you guys pound." And I said, "This will never happen again." And you know what? They at first I thought they were mad, but after they were very appreciative, like, "You're up front. Thank you so much." And it was the last tournament of the year. So it'll be okay. We'll see how this year goes. But I wouldn't know. We Susie and I handle it a different way. At least we try. Sometimes they can see it on her face, which is not good, but they can see it on her face. Which that's hard to do. Hard to hide that. I have to turn away because sometimes I'll have to turn away. I'm just like, because I don't understand some things. But like, I was there just a long time ago. Like,
Sure.
I don't remember missing this many spares. I don't remember having this much problems with things because when I went to West Texas and actually Erie, we practiced spares and spares and spares and focused on spares. I mean, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So when Susie and I looked at each other, we're just like, "I can't believe you missed that. How did you by a mile? We're not talking about little. We're talking about mile." And we're like, "Where is your head? I mean, are you here? Do you want to be here? Because I need you here.
Yeah.
Don't think about what's going on tomorrow or the next day or the day before or 2 days. I need you here to focus." But it's a wonderful experience for me. It's my first coaching as far as college. It's fun. Susie and I have a good time. We have a good rapport, so it works good for the girls.
Everybody, in their own bowling evolves, right? You start
Exactly.
out one way, and you build yourself up to your peak. Do you see yourself evolving as a coach?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I like it too. I like to evolve.
Yeah. How so?
I like to know. I like to know things. I like to help people. I do like to help people. People ask me all the time, like, "Just give me a call." I do love coaching. I love coaching kids, and when they're receptive, I like coaching kids. Like adults, it's like I can see what goes on with adults. I can say, "Okay, you're doing this," and then little fixes. But as far as I'd rather coach kids because they're a little more amiable, and you can mold them a little bit. And I work with what they have. I never try to change them and say, "You have to throw it this way or you have to do it that way," because that's not the correct way. I think you just enhance what they have and what they do good. And if something's like messed up, of course, you got to like, "Okay, you're bowling on the wrong foot. We need it." That's another story. But yeah, I always try to enhance what they have.
Yeah.
And I love to coach. I do. I enjoy myself with Sue. We have a good time. We coach well together.
Yeah. Jay says that his youngest son is a redhead and he's the best bowler in his family. So shout
Nice.
out to the stubborn redheads. LOL.
Yeah, I'm there for you, babe. I'm there. I listen to my dad, though. I don't know. Does he listen to you, Jay? I don't know. My brother didn't. That's why my brother quit. He was too. You think I'm feisty? My brother was worse, and he was redhead too. So
Okay.
yeah, oh yeah. He quit though. He knew he'd get too angry. He got too angry. So he said, "I can't deal with this."
Sure.
But I hope he listens to him.
Yeah.
Because that's the best. That's the best way to start, and then you get yourself coach, and then you just progress. My dad knew he took me so far, and then you just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Yeah.
For sure. Jody says, you two have had so many great times along the way. And to this day, she says she still wouldn't want to bowl you heads up.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bowl her heads up. We never had to. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
We never had to. It's crazy, but we never did. Even though we bowl same tournaments, we make the same cuts. We never did. I don't even think we did in regionals. I don't remember bowling her. I don't. She's
Yeah.
right. I don't remember bowling her.
Hmm.
So obviously it didn't happen. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to bowl her.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, you
No, I wouldn't
guys
bowl
have
her.
both had great careers, but I mean, some people would say there's something to that. Are you one of those everything happens for a reason type of people?
I do. I
Yeah.
am.
Okay.
Yes. I really firmly believe it.
Okay.
That could
Derek,
be over there.
yeah, Derek gave me the smiley face. Not sure what that was in reference to, but there he says he would take a lesson with you.
Aw, I'd give him a lesson
There you go. So you've got
anytime.
your next coaching appointment there.
Right?
Jay mentions his son is a great listener and an awesome person, which is good to hear. That bodes well for him for
Perfect.
sure.
That's the whole ball game. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
How
for
old
sure.
is he? How much did he say?
What did he say? Did he just said his youngest?
Okay.
So
That'd be
we'll-
interesting.
We'll have to
We're
guess.
trying to start we're trying to start a men's program. So
Okay.
who knows?
Just a
Yeah.
women's right now, and
Just
trying
a
to
women's
start
right now.
men's? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we'll see. It'll be a club sport because the women are our girls are NCAA, which
Oh.
that's a whole nother ball of wax too. Let me
Sure.
tell you about. Oh God, that is so nightmarish.
Yeah.
Getting used to that and understanding the rules and everything's just so different. Like when I went in college, we just bowled.
Right.
There's no
Everybody was under the same.
umbrella, and
Yeah.
now it's just like can't do this. You can't do this. Make sure this has happened. You better. I'm just like, oh, it's mine. It's hard work, but it's worth it.
Jay says he's 16 next week, so happy early birthday! But
Oh, happy birthday!
that's a good age, right? That's when you start looking
Sure
at
is.
schools and
Sure
getting
is.
recruited and good, and things like that.
Awesome.
Awesome. Derek says, "Don't dog on wrong foot bowlers, and you should remember Lou Campy."
I know I'm not dogging, but that's not the correct way to bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the wrong foot. That's really the wrong foot. I can't. It looks so uncomfortable when people do it.
Yep.
So I just couldn't do it, and I wouldn't coach that. But if someone is come up, if we're talking about kids. I'm not going to tell an adult you're bowling with the wrong foot. Let's change it because by that time, it's not good.
Right. You're
But a
setting the rules.
kid, yeah, because he did it and he did it great, and that's God bless him. We had a guy who's throws a backup ball. His name is Eric Mandrell, amazing bowler.
Yeah.
But he threw a backup ball, and it was just crazy. And he kicked people's butt. I mean, he was a really good bowler.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I won't ever tell him not to do it, but because he did it good, like if I ever obviously would never. I just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So if I coached Lou when he was a kid, I would have said, no, you're bowling on the wrong foot. But
yeah,
he did have success.
Tough to say that people are doing it wrong when they're knocking all the pins down over and over again.
Exactly. That's why I wouldn't do that. That's exactly why I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Jay says Jacob Buttroff is painful to watch for him.
He is.
He's different.
He is. And he is amazing. Like he's amazing talent. And you wouldn't think so, but man, he's consistent. See, that's what you see. That's what it comes down to, consistency and doing it the same way each time. So you can knock on people looking like that, but man, he's kicking butt.
Mm-hmm.
People can, we got a guy here too. He's kind of like that, a little odd approach, but he bowls well. I mean, you don't change it unless it's really broken, like where you're not consistent. And, Jacob that's how he learned. Look what he's done. I mean, he's had an amazing career so far and he's so young.
Yeah.
That's
that's
crazy.
kind of the beauty of the sport, right? Because everybody does it a little bit differently. There isn't the exact same form in any two bowlers, but there's still an avenue to success.
Exactly. And I think that's amazing. I think it's great. You don't want robots, and you just don't, as long as you get it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there and you carry and and it's consistent. I think that's the big word, consistent. Just and you carry, and you've got the balls going into the pins the right way, and yeah, that's ball reaction, but that's another. But yeah, I would never. When I first saw Jacob, I was like, whoa. I did. I was like, whoa. And then, but he had amazing success. So who am I to say anything? Who am I to judge? You know,
still does to this day.
Still does to this day. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to a part of the show that I call off the sheet. And that's where I ask you to challenge somebody else. Doesn't have to be the greatest bowler in the world, but somebody who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell to appear on a future episode of our show. So, Michelle Sterner, who would you like to see on a future episode of Bowling with the Fef?
Oh, I'm calling her out. Elizabeth Johnson.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to message her. I'm like, listen, I called your Fanny out. You better do it. I'll get her. She'll do it. It.
Aside from the fantastic bowling, which we all know about, is there something we should know about Liz that maybe most people don't?
Yeah, she's quiet, but if you're her friend, she's a very good friend, and she likes to have fun, and she's got a heart of gold. We just have such a good rapport and such a good relationship that is I can't say anything bad. I mean, like on the lanes, you can't tell if she's bowling good or bad. That's the difference between her and I. You'll know if I'm bowling good, and you'll know if I'm bowling bad. Liz is just, So there's a lot to be said for that too. You know what I mean? Instead of how me being like that and her being like that, I think it's just who it works for.
Yeah.
But she is a very good person. She has a very big heart, and she's wonderful. We'll go out. We have a good time. I mean, she's had an amazing career. I mean, what the heck, it's, and she's from here, so we both high school together too.
Yeah.
So, so I've been bowled there for a long time.
Truly amazing how many great bowlers, yourself included, have come out of that community.
Yeah, Buffalo is a bowling mecca. It was like, Detroit, because Detroit's pretty big too. But we had the bowlers. I have to say it. We have amazing guys and amazing women. I mean, seriously, amazing bowlers.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. To be honest with you, it's pretty cool because you hear Buffalo, they're like, "Oh, you're from Buffalo, huh?" And like, yeah, as far as bowling goes.
Yeah. Derek says that he has been told by a buddy in Florida that he is the weirdest bowler he has ever seen style-wise. I mean, look, I don't know if he's talking about himself or Jacob, but well, he says I am the weirdest bowler. I don't know. I mean,
no,
weird is a relative term too.
Exactly, it really is.
Yeah.
It is a very you know what it is, because you're just different. Weird. People. I wish people would use their words differently, because that's like, I'm not going to call Jacob weird. I'm going to call him different.
Yeah.
I think Jason Belmo is different. Jason Belmo's different. So everybody's different. There's some things are a little maybe unorthodox. Maybe that's the word. If you want to talk about a technically perfect. Now, I don't even know if that's the word, true, but being technically correct. I don't even know.
Or textbook.
You look like a bow. Yes, thank you. Textbook. Okay, but not everybody's textbook. Everybody's gonna have some quirks. Everybody's gonna have this. There's nothing textbook about people. And if you do you, and you, like I said, Derek, it's just succeed, and don't worry about what anybody says. Just do you. You know how to bowl. You know what you need to do. You can't let people. Don't let the words affect it, because it's nothing, and they don't deserve to be your friend. I hope it wasn't a friend.
The differences are how progress happens too. Yeah,
very true. So you shouldn't let anybody bag on you. It's just, so you do you.
So I've got one more touring pro to ask you about, and that's because she's our guest for next week's show. It's coming up on Thursday, August 3rd, a week and a day from tonight, and it's a big one. The great Lisa Wagner is going to come on our show on Thursday, August 3rd, and I know you two competed against each other, in the touring days and all that. What should we know about Lisa Wagner?
Oh, she's a tough competitor. I loved her. Like, That's the one I idolized. Like, I got interviewed when I was in high school. I was a Channel 7 Athlete of the Week. So I got interviewed. And he asked me who it was, and I said, Lisa Wagner is who I looked up to. And then I got to know her, and she's such a nice lady. I mean, she was competitive, but she was nice. She wasn't put off, standoffish. She's the one that did my show. She's the one that narrated my show. And it was amazing. And I bowled her. I'll tell you, I got to tell you this little story. I bowled her the cream of the crop. And because that's a tournament down in Florida that was real popular back in the day. It was for singles and doubles, men and women. And I bowled her, and I shot 300 against her. Yeah. Oh, no. Did I bowl again, or was I tie her? I thought I shot 300. I think I shot 300 against her, and it was just amazing. And I bowled her, and I was just like, I'm just in awe. We bowled together, and we crossed together, and I really like her. She's going to be fun to interview. She's got stories. I mean, she was a great bowler. My God, she was a great bowler. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
She's
Again,
amazing.
One of the best to ever do it. And
Yes.
certainly happy to have her on the books for Thursday, August 3rd, 7 p.m. Central is when she'll be here. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. Derek says he was a good friend, great guy, not offended at all. That's good.
Good.
He says she has 321 titles. Oops, not 321, but 32. Yeah,
Funny.
most career titles on the LPBT or PWBA, whatever you want to call it, for a career. So yeah, next week,
Yeah,
week
she's
from
amazing.
tonight, or
I'm gonna have
a
to
week and a
watch.
day. So
Yeah, I'll have to watch.
but Michelle, it has been a pleasure getting to know you and your bowling
Yeah, thank
story,
you.
and yeah, continued success on the lanes
Thank
to you
you.
for sure.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. And thank
Yeah.
you so much. I enjoyed myself.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you
Thank
did.
you.
And thanks to all of you who have tuned in to watch. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to do this for you yet again. Again, a week and a day is when we're back next time. So be sure and until then, see you next time.